welcome to this 10 Weather Impact Show. I'm meteorologist Chris Tomer.
I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens. We've made it to the end of the week, and it's just as beautiful outside today as it was yesterday.
Yeah, totally sunny out there today, and even warmer. I mean, we're approaching, I think, 40 now-ish.
I say I haven't been outside since it was closer to the 20s a little bit earlier today, but I've been looking at the temperature going up and looking at the air to our south and west that's heading this way, and this weekend, it's going to be nice.
It really is. Today's just the first day of what's going to be a beautiful weekend. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day.
What a gift we have.
Right. All I saw were guys running around at CVS trying to find roses. So
last minute, you got to make it work.
Boxes of chocolate, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that forecast for Valentine's Day. Here it is. It's looking really good. We've got temperatures that are headed for about 50 degrees with sunny skies and those winds out of the south. And this is, of course, tomorrow on Saturday here across the Columbus area, central Ohio, about 50 degrees. So we've actually bumped that up right to that mark. Here's the view outside right now, totally sunny. What a view it is outside across the Scioto there, running through the city of Columbus, and it's going to stay this way. I really don't see anything as far as cloud cover moving in here. Out in Heath and Newark there in Licking County, look at all of the green grass showing up. We've melted a lot of snow, and we're going to melt a ton of it through this afternoon and certainly this tomorrow as well, with temperatures at 50 degrees. And so these are 24-hour temperature changes where you see the warmer colors. I mean, it's just easy to spot. All the temperatures are warmer than they were at this time yesterday. 24 hours ago, we're 5 to, in some cases, 10 degrees warmer here across the Buckeye State. Looking at current temps here across central Ohio, all in the upper 30s to nearing 40. In Columbus, a little cooler up to the north, mid-30s, but already into the 40s down to the south. Chillicothe, down towards Piketon and Jackson, all in the 40s there. So the rest of the night, if you're stepping out tonight, should be clear, should be totally dry. I've got no weather moving in for tonight. Temperatures will fall from the 40s down into the 30s by midnight, and then right around 30-ish early tomorrow morning, and a dry morning tomorrow. So what about the rest of the forecast? So really the big themes. We're seeing more melting here in the forecast, and then of course refreezes each night. All of the high temperatures that I have over the next 7 days are all above freezing, and at night we will of course refreeze. But sunny and warmer, the trend here today and also Saturday. Still looking at some rain chances across the area for Sunday morning, and I'll walk you through those here in a second. But you can see the 7-day as far as precipitation chances. It's a 40% on Sunday, probably the first half of the day. Then it's dry Monday, Tuesday, 20% chance of rain on Wednesday, 40% Thursday. So now it is warm enough that we're talking about only rain in the forecast. Here's satellite radar. It is just crystal clear across the entire state from Cleveland all the way down to Cincinnati. And there's where the wind is coming from down here and to the south. There's no weather there, so there's really nothing being transported in here. Now down the road, it's a different story. There's our next storm system coming out of the Four Corners. It will follow this yellow arrow and basically sweep close enough to us here in central Ohio to give us a chance of rain. So let me show it to you. I'll walk you through the hour by hour. And this afternoon, a lot of sunshine here across I-70 and 71. So this is Friday, 5:30. Now on Saturday morning, same thing, dry and clear across Columbus. Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Again, this is all Valentine's Day. Looking good, maybe a little touch of overcast moving in the afternoon. And then here comes our storm system, and it's close enough. The track is close enough to bring the rain, which is green, in from the south. And I'd say right here along I-70, and kind of that rain chance kind of falls off to the north, and it's a much higher percentage chance of rain to the south. Right here in Columbus, thinking about a 40% chance of rain. This is 5:30 in the morning. Then in the afternoon, it moves away. So the low pulls all the precip away, and we're drier in the afternoon, and very possible to see sunshine kind of break through all that. So how much rain are we actually talking about? Well, here are the numbers. You can see the clock is running. By Sunday morning, these, by the afternoon, all of these are totals as far as rainfall, and it's not much. It's probably a tenth to maybe 2/10 of an inch here across I-70 and north. Better chances to the south of seeing maybe a half of an inch of rainfall in the southern counties around Piketon and also Jackson. All right, my forecast for tonight, mostly clear and 29 degrees. And tomorrow, Saturday, Valentine's Day, a lot of sunshine and 50 degrees, a pretty warm wind out of the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. All right, here's your 10 Weather Impact 7-day forecast. So There it is, Saturday looking good. Now Sunday, that chance of rain, 40% in the morning. Then in the afternoon, skies will clear. Here's the rest of the 7-day. 54 on Monday and sunny skies, dry for Tuesday. So 2 back-to-back very nice dry days in the mid to upper 50s. 61 is our forecast high on Wednesday. Maybe a couple of rain showers in the afternoon. On Thursday, that chance is 40%. You can see the temperatures coming down there, obviously, as we add cloud cover and a little bit of rain, Michael. But we get the high point right there at 61 on Wednesday.
That is looking
really
just
good.
So nice. I mean, it already feels warm outside after getting out of this cold spell. Only getting better and
yes,
better.
I know. I totally agree. Really good stuff. So we got to talk about Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
You know, that forecast, that really kind of looks like a gift in its own out there, especially with how much warmer it's going to get this weekend. But, you know, not everyone's a meteorologist, so you can't take credit for that. That's our gift. We're giving that.
That's right.
If you're looking for a gift, though, there are some other great options out there. We got the top 5 here for you.
Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, perfect list for heading into the holiday. This is according to the National Retail Federation. Topping the list, candy, followed by greeting cards, flowers, and number 3, a good date night, number 4, and jewelry.
Are you doing any of
number
these
5?
things?
You know, we're planning a date night out there. We kind of decided we're going to skip the gifts this year and kind of instead just sort of put efforts together to a good night out, nice meal, something like that. But we've got our plans kind of after Valentine's Day. What's it looking like for you?
Yeah, I think we'll probably do some sort of dinner out. And then I've got a couple of other things like a nice card, you know. Just right now, kind of keeping it simple. We're still kind of busy with, you know,
because you get all the moving still to put together.
Boxes everywhere. All right, so while our forecast may be the gift here, especially with the beautiful weather, it's also causing some headaches in the morning, especially with the roads. Oh, this is something you were talking about yesterday because of the refreeze. That's right. We had a couple of accidents that were pretty serious.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the nice weather is great, especially heading into the Valentine's Day weekend, but for the drivers in the morning, it's really been a mess. And it's a combination of just what we're doing with the melt-freeze cycles over and over and over again. And I'll show you why. Let's take a look at the traffic cameras outside this afternoon. You can see we're definitely in that heat of the day. We're getting that melting going on. And the problem has been what you're seeing on the sides of these roads, where we have that snow piled up along the shoulders. You can see it out there along the shoulder as well, especially when you get on some of those more tilted inclined ramps and overpasses. That snow has been melting off during these warmer afternoons, and then that water has been refreezing at night. Our temperatures so far today have already made it well above the freezing mark, so we're melting that snow all across central Ohio. That will continue again through the afternoon, but then that snow melt causes problems later in the day, primarily when that freezes overnight. That water drifting across the roadway turns into a very thin layer of ice. You're really not going to be even able to see it. If anything, the road kind of looks a little bit wet, and that can cause a lot of issues in the morning for drivers, especially when they're not expecting slick conditions because the weather's otherwise pretty quiet. Again, that thin layer of ice, so small, hard to really even see because it's just between your tire there and the road surface. And of course, we were looking at those temperatures over the next 7 days. We've got more chances for this freeze melt cycle to continue on. That would be likely again heading into tomorrow morning. Probably not Sunday morning. We stay a little milder on the low side, but you might do it again Monday morning in some spots. And that would definitely be an issue for those drivers heading back to work.
Yeah, no kidding. And so what are the ways that they sort of battle this on the roads? They use salt, right?
Yeah, I mean, the only real way is to combat it. I mean, you can kind of pre-treat ahead of time. You can put things like brine down, but if you get enough melting in the day, you're just going to sort of wash things away anyways. So you kind of got to wait almost till it freezes and kind of treat it again.
Yeah, that's really tricky stuff. So, all right, good info, Michael. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, our weather, like we said, warming up out there, but other places around the country, they're still digging out from the snow and dealing with really a lot of continuing winter weather.
Yeah, so a concern for people in Philadelphia. Some of the rock salt they use for de-icing can end up in the drinking water supply. Oh, this is fascinating. I got a little side story of this, and they can be a concern for people with salt-restricted diets. Who would have thought? Yeah. So I was talking to someone who worked for CDOT a couple of years ago, and they were actually studying what happens when it washes off the roads and down into like local creeks and streams and filters through the system. So I know this is a real thing. Yeah,
indeed. And there's been a lot of salt used out there. Of course, we're talking about tons of salt being used on roads to prevent slipping. It's corrosive actually to the roads and other parts of the environment. John Jackson, a senior scientist at the independent nonprofit Stroud Water Research Center in Chester County, he's been looking into some of those impacts of rock salt.
Yeah, and he says that rock salt in the snow melts into the main sources of local drinking water, like I was saying. Rock salt used on roads and sidewalks, sodium chloride, and is basically the same as table salt.
Yeah.
You ever just take table salt and throw it out there on the sidewalk? I guess you could do that.
Not quite as good, but still gets the job done.
Hazardous for people in high-risk groups, but excess salt is a potential danger for everyone. It's the sodium that's causing the difficulty with the strain on the kidneys and raising blood pressure, ultimately adding to cardiovascular risk.
That's interesting. So experts say there aren't any federal regulatory limits for sodium in drinking water because it's not considered highly toxic.
Yeah, the Philadelphia Water Department says because of the snowmelt, consumers may notice a slightly salty taste in the drinking water for a few days. It's crazy there's that much out there getting in. Yeah. You know, adding that it's not a health risk, the levels will continue to be monitored, though, to ensure safety. Yeah, like I said, really just the same stuff you put on food. It's right on the road.
You got to throw some Himalayan pink sea salt out there and make it healthy.
You can't use the good stuff.
No.
You got the cheap salt.
That's right.
You know, while that last story we're talking about impacts of too much salt, it's getting in the drinking water. You really want to have it still in the winter, but other parts of the country, they've been dealing with a salt shortage through this winter blast.
Yeah, so Charlotte Hancock's reports from Burlington, Vermont, where officials are urging drivers to be extra cautious on roads in the region as the region continues to deal with the shortage of the crucial winter mineral, which is salt.
That's the sound communities around Vermont are hearing less and less. A salt shortage is impacting more than a dozen towns in the Green Mountain State, but winter weather shows no signs of stopping. Snowplowing companies say they are working to keep the roads safe, but without the tools they need, challenges keep cropping up.
We're honoring our contracts, but we're having to make tough choices because right now, our salt shed that we have a limited quantity left, and we're saving it for only emergencies.
The owner of Jay's Snowplowing says they saw a 46% salt price increase from last season, but he says price is only part of the problem.
It's not just a specific area. Our salt we get from all over the place. We have a primary, a secondary, and a tertiary place that we get it. Our primary and secondary are out right now. Our tertiary is a little bit further away.
Jay says he's now forced to mix in sand to make the supply last. Other companies that maintain large commercial properties say they're making adjustments too.
Supply is pretty low right now, but it's, you know, we do our best to make sure that all the chain stores are well properly sorted out.
Uzel McFarland works for Interactive Maintenance Services. And while they are not mixing in sand, he said they've had to change their plow process.
We just pay for more because that way it cleans the grounds more better.
Now the state is stepping in. V-Trans recently announced temporary relief for salt contractors to pause deliveries to state stockpiles, allowing them to focus on supplying towns and local customers first. In the meantime, officials are urging extra caution on the roads.
Slow down, drive below the speed limit, drive within your capabilities. And snow tires are always good, but they're not going to help in the long run.
And reminding drivers to expect icy spots and plan for longer travel times while supplies remain low. In South Burlington, I'm Charlotte Hancock, NBC 5 News.
It's quite tragic.
It's been about 7 months since Frank Paternick.
And while we're still dealing with the cold here in central Ohio, even with our warm-up, other parts of the country are now preparing for the heat waves of summer.
Yeah, it's not going to be too long before we get back into that weather pattern. Of course, it happens in the south first. In Phoenix, Arizona, fortunately, in the wake of some tragic deaths last summer in apartment units, there could be some new laws soon coming on the books to help make sure residents stay cool. Michaela Marshall reports on that story.
It's quite tragic.
It's been about 7 months since Frank Paternick III lost his father, Frank Paternick Jr. The 66-year-old died last summer inside his unit at the Elton Apartments in Phoenix. The AC wasn't working at the time, and when Frank was found days after he was last seen, his apartment was over 101 degrees.
He was a disabled man in his 60s, and How could you just not care that much?
This case is one of several, inspiring Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays and State Senator Lauren Kuby to change the law.
It's a public health emergency. We need to respond to it. We can't just ignore this. We know people are dying.
Senate Bill 1608 would require property managers to ensure temperatures never exceed 82 degrees in any rental. And if a landlord fails to comply and provide functioning AC, tenants can break their lease with a 2-day notice dropped down from the current rule of 5 days.
So you think about it, if you have carbon monoxide or a flood in your apartment, that'll be attended to very quickly, right? That's seen as a health hazard. Well, extreme heat is definitely a health hazard.
The bill also aims to strengthen the Arizona Residential Landlord-Tenant Act by prohibiting landlords from evicting anyone during a week when it's 90 degrees or higher for 2 or more days.
And so this doesn't raise the floor, it raises the ceiling.
The legislation is partly in response to our reporting that led Mays to sue multiple property managers in the last 2 years. The ongoing legal action stems from a pattern of inadequate cooling during extreme summer heat at Buenas communities in the Elton apartments.
We need to have a uniform standard that really establishes a public health safety net. And also the courts need to have something in statute where they can use to really protect tenants. And this is what the bill does.
For Paternity, the proposed regulations are common sense.
I think there needs to be a price paid for this kind of negligence. Hopefully this is a strong enough message to prevent something like this from happening again.
The way this bill reads right now, it would likely ban evictions for about 5 months in Phoenix, where we see routinely temps above 90 degrees for days on end. For Arizona's Family, I'm Michaela Marshall.
And finally today, let's check out some new video into us here at 10 TV. Police in Syracuse, New York, they performed a hoot of a rescue on Thursday. How about that?
Yeah. That's a beautiful owl up in Syracuse.
Guy.
So Syracuse police, animal cruelty, responded to the call of an injured owl, the call 4. According to their Facebook page, officials say the officers rescued the owl and brought it to local wildlife professionals for care.
Oh, look, cute little guy. I mean, I think we're looking at, I can't tell if we're looking at the front or the back of it. I think it's the design of the camo anyways in the owl.
See his eyes.
Yeah, you never know where they're looking, but that's a cute little guy. Glad he's in the care and doing better.
Yes.
Absolutely. And finally today, residents and business owners in St. Clair Shores, Michigan, this is near 11 Mile Road in Little Mac, they experienced a rare winter weather phenomenon Tuesday. CBS News Detroit received multiple reports of a slight shake and even floor damage due to a potential cryoseism.
What?
Commonly
Frostquake?
Frostquake, yeah. News crews were able to see buckled tile inside the store there at 7-Eleven. How about that?
A cryoseism?
Cryoseism.
Okay, or a frostquake occurs when water in the ground freezes and expands. Under specific conditions, this expansion puts significant stress on the surrounding the soil and the rock until it suddenly fractures. To relieve that stress, sometimes creating a loud boom and some ground tremors. The mechanics of Tuesday's event involved 2 factors: deep pressure and a deeper layer of frozen ground that was underneath. So that sort of creates another pressure point right there. Yeah. And then, of course, you have that surface thaw. As temperatures warm today, the top layer of that soil experienced a minor thaw, and some of that weakened, and you get that release of that energy.
I mean, I've heard of frostquakes before, primarily from the noise that they make. I've never seen one do damage before. That's
honestly,
wild.
I hadn't really heard of one until yesterday when I saw this, but pretty amazing.
Crazy video there. And speaking of some cool video, one final note to you guys before leaving today. Now on 10 TV Plus, we're looking back at a unique piece of history that extends deep into the stars.
Yeah, so our own Meredith Garofalo recently learned a lot about the Big Ear telescope in Delaware County. Take a look.
It was then also used for studying radio sources in the sky, such as quasars, supermassive black holes, things like that.
All the cool space stuff.
Right. And then eventually it was used for the SETI project.
So what's SETI, for those who may not be familiar with it?
SETI stands for the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence.
Oh, that's cool.
Watch that video now on demand on 10 TV Plus, as well as airing later this evening as well.
Yeah, I love that Meredith does that stuff.
Absolutely, me too. And speaking of later this evening, Chief Meteorologist Chris Tomer, you'll be back at 4, 5, and 6.
Yep. We'll be talking about the rain chance on Sunday and, of course, the big thaw.
See you then.